Hello everybody, it's Non-C News here, and today we've got a lot of broken updates today. So the first news is coming from Russia, where we talked a little bit about it yesterday, but it was Putin's 72nd birthday yesterday, and a lot of countries, a lot of presidents around the world congratulated Putin on his birthday, like the president of Turkey, Erdogan. So the president of Turkey, Erdogan, warmly congratulated Putin by phone on his birthday. Same with the Armenian Prime Minister and with the Azerbaijani President, and most of Central Asia and China and Mongolia and North Korea all congratulated Putin on his birthday. So very interesting news. We've also got news that the Azerbaijani President Aliyev has just arrived at the Kremlin for talks with Vladimir Putin. So I've just gotten this information about 5 minutes ago, so I've got no further information about the subject. So we can see here in the bottom left corner, we can see the Azerbaijani President Aliyev arrive at the Kremlin for talks with Vladimir Putin. We've also gotten some rumours that the Prime Minister of Armenia has also arrived in Moscow for talks with Putin, but I've gotten no videos about that at this current time of recording. So something pretty big is probably going to happen. We've also got news that President Putin has also agreed to meet the Iranian president in Turkmenistan on October the 11th. So on October the 11th, we can expect Putin meeting the Iranian president in Turkmenistan. We've also got news that Cuba has sent an official request to Russia to join BRICS as a partner country. We've also got news that China and Russia continue to do their naval exercises through the Pacific Seas. So if you can see here in the bottom left corner, we can see Russian and Chinese navies conduct joint drills. So these drills demonstrate the growing cooperation between Russia and China in the region. So we can see here in the bottom left corner, these ships conducting patrols and anti-submarine warfare tactics, apparently. So very big news. Now let's head back to Europe, where we've got news that Ukraine has just hit some facilities in Crimea. So we can see here in the bottom left corner, we can see that Ukraine has hit an oil depot, this exact oil depot specifically. So we've got news that this huge oil depot has been destroyed on the territory of Crimea. Now let's get into some Ukrainian updates. So we talked a little bit about this yesterday, how Ukraine and the Netherlands strengthened their military cooperation as first F-16 fighter jets arrive. So this comes as the first batch of F-16s from the Netherlands arrived in Ukraine yesterday in an attempt to try and bolster the country's air superiority over the Russian Air Force. So very big news. So the first Dutch F-16s arrive in Ukraine. We've also got news that France will deliver Mirage 2000 fighter jets to Ukraine in the first quarter of 2025. They will be equipped with the latest systems for fighting and protecting against electronic warfare, the Minister of France said. So we can expect Ukraine to gain access to the French Mirage 2000 fighters in the first quarter of 2025. So very big news. We've also got news coming from Ukraine that the Slovakian Prime Minister Robert Fico has landed in Ukraine in this border town here between Slovakia and Ukraine. So we can see here in the bottom left corner, we can see the Slovakian Prime Minister meet the Ukrainian Prime Minister. So they talked a lot about Ukraine's entry into the EU and NATO. So Slovakia is ready to help Ukraine on its path to the EU, says the Prime Minister of Ukraine. But however, the Slovak Prime Minister noted and warned that some EU countries will try and slow down Ukraine's accession process into the EU. So Fico warned. Slovakia is also ready to provide Ukraine with electricity, non-lethal military aid, and is preparing a finance assistance package while supporting Ukraine's EU membership. The country remains cautious about NATO accession, but will participate in related conferences, said Slovak Prime Minister Fico during his meeting. So again, he adds that Slovakia is very negative towards Ukraine's membership in NATO, so very big news. We've also gotten some news coming from Odessa that in Odessa, a woman tried to hang a Russian flag on a monument to Catherine II. So if we can see here in the bottom left corner, we can see a woman try to hang a Russian flag on this monument, but the flag got snatched out of her hands. Now let's head to Poland, where we got news that Polish sailors prevented the smuggling of several hundred kilograms of cocaine. Polish sailors have prevented the smuggling of several hundred kilograms of cocaine on their vessels, which was preparing for a voyage from Brazil to Europe. The incident happened to the bulk carrier Polska Żeglarska Morska when the crew discovered damaged seals in the technical compartment. After reporting to the captain, the police found more than a dozen bags of cocaine weighing about 40 kilograms each. The investigation is ongoing. So very interesting news. We've also got news coming from the Czech Republic that the Czech government has just decided to raise its salaries. So the salary of the president of the Czech Republic is set to increase by 1,872 euros per month from the current official salary of 13,648 euros a month. The Prime Minister of the Czech Republic will also be getting a raise of 1,504 euros per month from the current 10,995 euros a month. So the Czech Republic officials are now getting a salary, a big salary promotion. Now let's head to Lithuania, where we've got news that early voting for parliamentary elections begin in Lithuania. The Central Election Commission reports that from October the 8th to October the 10th, from 7 a.m. to 8 p.m, voting will take place. So Lithuania is going to be undergoing an early voting for parliamentary elections, so I'll keep you updated who wins. We've also got news coming from the Brandenburg Gate in Germany, that the Brandenburg Gate was illuminated with the colours of the Israeli national flag to honour those who tragically died in the October the 7th music festival. We've also got news coming from the German city here in southern Germany that around 50 people were injured in a serious accident involving two buses on the bridge in Reisenberg. So about 5 passengers sustained severe injuries, but their lives are not in danger. According to the police spokesman, about 45 people were taken to nearby hospitals. So there was a big bus crash in Germany here. We've also got news that the UK has just taken first place in Europe for the number of illegal migrants. A study by experts from Oxford University estimates that there are about 745,000 illegal migrants in the country of the United Kingdom, and Germany and France rank second and third. We've also got news coming from Spain that Spanish truckers announce a series of strikes to demand early retirement and better conditions. Spanish truck drivers and bus drivers are set to begin a series of strikes starting on October the 28th to demand improved retirement terms and working conditions. The union are pushing for changes in the current retirement age of 67 and are advocating for partial retirement options. So big news coming from Spain. The next news is coming from Greece, where we've got news that 2 earthquakes occurred in Greece on Monday, October the 7th, so yesterday. 2 earthquakes were recorded in Greece, one near the city of Thebes, right here, so near Athens, the capital city of Greece, and there was 1 earthquake recorded near the island of Crete. So it was reported that the earthquake was about 4.4 magnitude scaled, and the earthquake was also felt in the city of Athens. So big news. We've also got news that Hezbollah launches around about 100 rockets at the Israeli city of Haifa in northern Israel. So we can see here in bottom left corner, we can see all these videos of missiles and the Iron Dome systems working. So around about 100 missiles were launched into the city, the Israeli city of Haifa. So big news. We've also got news that Erdogan, the president of Turkey, has compared the Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu to Hitler. The Turkish president condemned the ongoing violence in Gaza and Lebanon, and Erdogan vowed that Turkey will continue to stand against the Israeli government regardless of the cost, and urged the world to join their stance. So big news. We've also got news that Turkey reportedly are going to evacuate its citizens from Lebanon on Wednesday. So tomorrow, apparently Turkey will be evacuating its citizens from Lebanon. We've also got news that Brazil has also welcomed Lebanese refugees to the Brazilian city of Sao Paulo. I think that's how you pronounce the name here. So the Brazilian president and the first lady greeted the first Lebanese refugees from Lebanon as they arrived at the Brazilian city on Sunday. So earlier last week, Brazil also began evacuating some of its 21,000 citizens living in Lebanon. So a lot of people are now evacuating their citizens from the country. We've also got news coming from the Gaza Health Ministry that the war in Gaza apparently is now about 41,000 people have died. So the Gaza Health Ministry says the war death toll in Gaza is 41,000. So very sad news. We've also got news coming from Saudi Arabia that Saudi Arabia has resumed the construction of the world's tallest building with a new $1.9 billion contract for the Jeddah Tower. So you can see here in the bottom left corner, this is the sketch. This is what it's going to be this is what it's going to look like. The next news is coming from Algeria, where we've got news that the president of Algeria has once more postponed a visit to France and accused its former colonial ruler of genocide in a sign of ever worsening relations between Algeria and Paris. So the Algerian president refuses France visit. So tensions between France and Algeria continue. We've also got news coming from Nigeria that Nigeria has announced plans to sell crude oil using its local currency instead of the US dollar. As one of the top 15 crude oil producing countries, Nigeria holds the 8th largest oil reserves and in the 6th largest oil exporter in the world. So Nigeria has plans to use its local currency as its currency for trade in crude oil. We've also got news that Georgia's ruling party has once again initiating an impeachment on the Georgian president, so I'll keep you updated on that. We've gotten some news coming from Kim Jong-un in North Korea, that Kim Jong-un said that the DPRK, so North Korea, is not interested in an attack on South Korea. The North Korean leader Kim Jong-un stated that he is not interested in forcibly unifying the Korean peninsula. In addition, he emphasized that Pyongyang has announced a course that implies actual recognition of the existence of the two states. So Kim Jong-un stated that in the past there was much talk about a so-called liberation of the South, even about a forced unification. Now there is absolutely no interest in that, Kim Jong-un added. And we've also got news coming from the Taiwanese Admiral of the Taiwanese Navy Command. So the Taiwanese Navy Commander stated that China is slowly but surely ramping up its military presence around Taiwan and is ready to blockade Taiwan at any time they want. So Admiral Tang Hu stated, the Taiwan Navy commander. He also said that China wants Taiwan to make a mistake and to use that excuse to trigger a blockade around Taiwan. And the last news coming today is coming from the Americas. So first we're just going to talk about Kamala Harris and her statements. So Kamala Harris said that she will not discuss ending the war in Ukraine with Putin without Kiev's presence, so without Ukraine's presence. So here's the clip here.
There will be no success in ending that war without Ukraine and the UN Charter participating in what that success looks like.
Would you meet with President Vladimir Putin to negotiate a solution to the war in Ukraine?
Not bilaterally without Ukraine, no. Ukraine must have a say in the future of Ukraine. Donald Trump, if he were president, Putin would be sitting in Kyiv right now. He talks about, oh, he can end it on day one. You know what that is? It's about surrender.
Very interesting statements come from Kamala Harris. We've also gotten some statements coming from the former president, Donald Trump. He stated that he criticized the allocation of nearly $300 billion to Ukraine amidst a natural disaster in the US. And the last news coming from America is coming from the coming Hurricane Milton. So we've got news that another hurricane is set to hit Florida and the eastern states of America. So you can see here in the bottom left corner, this is Hurricane Milton. It is a Category 5 hurricane, and it's set to hit Florida tomorrow. So people in Florida that are listening to this, please take care of yourselves and keep us updated in the comments below, and I'll be reading them. And the last news coming today is coming from Mexico, where Mexico was also hit with a hurricane, leaving about 70,000 homes damaged. So if you can see here in the bottom left corner, we can see the results of a hurricane that hit Mexico. And the last news coming today is coming from this city here. So we've got a news coming from this city that the mayor of Algeria, Acros, I think that's to pronounce his name, the mayor of this city here, was decapitated after 6 days in office. So just after 3 days after being sworn in to this new city, as the mayor of this new city, he was shot to death and he was decapitated. So very, very concerning and barbaric news. And that's all the news I actually have for you today. I am Non-Seen News. I'll try and provide you news that medias around the world do not show you. I do these videos hopefully daily, so consider subscribing and liking. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you all later. Bye.